The St. Clair Saints women's volleyball team won their second OCAA bronze medal in the past 3 years thanks to a 3-0 set victory over the Durham Lords in the OCAA bronze medal match this Saturday. The East versus West matchup features some dynamic offensive weapons and some supreme defenders on both sides. The first set was neck and neck the entire time with some amazing and timely digs by Durham's Hannah Amos and reigning player of the game from last week's match, Julie Ann Milling. Neither team would give an inch throughout the set, providing some very tense and exciting points for the families and friends that traveled up to North Bay to witness the matchup and provide a sea of green in the bleachers. After a fierce, intention-filled final stretch, the Saints came away with the victory in straight sets, winning the final set 25-23. Saints head coach Jimmy L. Turk was extremely pleased with his team's game under tough circumstances, saying, "It was a really fun day to be a coach in one of the hardest games in sports. I am most happy that our graduating athletes were able to win their last game as a Saint." Joining me in studio today is the owner of Next Level Athletics in Riverside on Ontario Street, Shane Topalovic, who's going to have the biggest month in the history of his gym. Shane, thanks for joining the show. Thanks for joining the show once again.
Thanks for having me again.
No problem. Obviously, so Shane, you've been involved in the community for a number of years now, training athletes in different sports, professionally with the Windsor Express, locally with many different soccer clubs. And last year, for the first time, you brought in a big name, Ben Johnson, to Windsor for a speed training clinic, and that went very, very well. And now you're going to follow that up by bringing up one of his former teammates, Bruny Surin, for another speed clinic.
It's another great thing where you have another world-class athlete coming to Windsor.
Yeah.
You know, we're a big town, but we're a small town, so to get guys like that of that caliber who can come in to speak about what it's like to be in front of 90,000 people when you run, to be out there by yourself, to have all the media scrutiny, to have all those things going on, and then to come in and talk about the pressure and then show you how to be better at running, how to deal with those pressures. It's exciting for everybody.
So what people don't know is that obviously Donovan Bailey in '96 was the big anchor in the Atlanta Olympics, and the person that handed him the baton was Bruny Surin.
Bruny Surin is a name that you gets lost in the shuffle because you go from '88 where you had the big scandal with Ben Johnson, then you go to '96 where you have a world record with Donovan Bailey. And then you see him coming in and passing that baton off and winning the gold medal. When Bruny passed him the baton, he knew they won. He knew it. I mean, you could see it in the clips. Like, his hands are up. He knew it. And the work that he did. I mean, in '88, he was a long jumper. And then in '96, he was a sprinter. And then in '99, he lost by 0.4 of a second. But he tied the Canadian record. And a lot of people don't know he has that.
No.
So he's one of the 10 fastest people of all time. And then to not get the recognition he deserves, you know, how does he handle that too? You know, that's another great thing that he can bring, that he can talk about, which is one of the reasons why we wanted to bring him.
So that's Saturday.
Yes.
So, and this is one of the biggest weekends in the history of your gym. Saturday, you're hosting the speed clinic, and you thought, you know what, I don't have enough going on Saturday. I'm going to run another event on Sunday, and it's going to be a 5K run at Malden Hill with proceeds going to Stigma Enigma. Can you tell us the breakdown of what's going to happen the day after one of the busiest days of your life? You're just going to load it on and help even more people the next day. What can you tell us about that?
Just a charity event, right? We decided to put a 5K to address like Stigma Enigma in Maryvale because of the mental illness that goes on in youth kids. It's one of those things where kids don't want to talk. If something is maybe too heavy or whatever, now there's somewhere to go.
Yes.
And I think a lot of kids don't know where they can go. So if there is something like that we can put out there for them, for the community too. I mean, even if there's another adult in the same position as me to say, we don't know what's going on, but here's a place where you can go, and here's who you can talk to, and there is help for you out there. You're not alone in this.
And sometimes kids are too scared to reach out because they don't want to be labeled as anything, right? And that's where Stigma Enigma comes in. We want to erase all those stigmas surrounding mental health.
Of course. I just want everybody to come and have a good time, realize there's no pressure, it's a fun environment, and there will be somewhere to go if you do feel pressure on you at some point in your life. So
absolutely. And of course, Windsor does have a great community, so as a community, let's support Next Level Athletics in their charity run on March 29th at Malden. So visit Race Roster and search for the Stigma Enigma 5K so we can help. This week's TSS Spotlight is shining on Steve Walls Jr. Last week at the Molson Masters Bowling Classic, Steve Walls needed a 7-10 split in the 8th frame to beat Dan Aqua to advance to the semifinals. And he did just that. Let's take a look.
7-pin over there. Now it's the 7-10, which is virtually impossible to make. And he did it! And he did it! Wow, what a show of respect as well. Danny walking over. That is a spare
that you will see made maybe